Hi, welcome to Grace yoga class. In this class, we're going to focus on flexibility. Flexibility with the hips, hamstrings, even flexibility with the mind. So if you have some blocks, go ahead and grab Good evening. How are you today? It's good to be here with you in our flexibility class. This is mind power affirmations. I was just going to see if there's anything that popped out. It says, my thinking and actions of today are the cause that produces the effect I experience in my future. Well, hey, buddy. This is the culmination of Benjamin's past right now, coming to fruition in the future. He wanted to play, so he ran up the stairs with his little ball to play. Oh, good news. I don't know if you heard or not, or you saw, but this channel is now affiliated, or I'm affiliated, so that's awesome news. And I'm thankful to you for joining me. Couldn't become affiliated without you. So thank you for joining me. Go ahead and set your intention for your practice. So maybe something about flexibility. You say it in the present tense. I am flexible. So flexibility can start in the mind. So let's get some flexibility in the spine by shifting from side to side. And then forward to back. Seated cat-cows. Sending one ear to one shoulder, taking in a deep breath. Exhale, dip the chin down, rolling the opposite ear to the other shoulder. Exhaling out, inhaling in. Exhaling out, dipping the chin to the other side, taking the ear to the other side. Deep inhale here, exhale, rounding the spine. Let's go ahead and get the spine with this neck stretch. So we're going to start to add a little bit of stretch in the left side ribs here. So I'm going to begin to drop the shoulder down. Exhale, round the spine backwards. And then you're going to drop the left shoulder down as you take the ear down toward that shoulder. So this is just adding a little bit of spine movement and neck movement. So I'll show from the side. So as you dip the chin forward, you're rounding the spine back. Making half moon circles with the crown of the head. Good. All right. And on your next time you bring your chin to your chest, then we'll just lift the head up. Yeah, good. I'm just taking any movement here that feels really nice. In some deep breaths, in through the nose. Out some warm breaths, out through the nose. Turning back toward the front, toward you. We want to start to warm up the body before we get into some deeper stretches. Guinevere just laid down on my jacket that I put over there. She's adorable. All right, so to warm up, let's go ahead and come over to our hands and knees. So, and cat-cow the spine. So we had a beginner class last night, so if you missed that, it's still up. And we go over all the different, points of yoga if you're not sure like what a perfect cat-cow should feel like. And really there's no perfect pose. But we go over some of the basics of what you should be doing here in cat-cow. And we covered other things too. So feel free to check that out. We're going to tuck the toes underneath. Exhale, send the hips to the sky and walk the dog. Have y'all seen my trailer yet on my Twitch channel? When I'm not live, please go check it out. I posted it up yesterday and I'm excited about it. When I had originally recorded it, I'm going to exhale, knees down, cat-cow again. When I originally recorded it, and I thought we had 2 minutes to do that trailer. So I was like, I was 1 minute and 11 seconds. So I had 111. And I thought, that's a good number. Let's do that. But your trailers have to be less than a minute, so less than 60 seconds. I was like, well, shoot. So I might have some awkward, I don't know if it's awkward, but some cuts there where I have to get my sentences closer together. So you can see I have some transitions in there, and then I had to take out some other stuff, but that's okay. Please check it out. And then I have a suggestion box on my page. Tuck the toes under, exhale, send the hips to the sky. So I have a suggestion box on my page, and I would love to hear from you. If you would like to see anything on this channel, if you would like to do any certain types of yoga, or you just have any general feedback, like, hey, Grace Yoga, you could do this or you could do that. We're going to walk the hands back. So we're just going to start to try to warm up the body here. Inhale to halfway up. And exhale, forward fold, walk the hands out. Come into high plank, so you might need to step your feet back so that you're centered on your mat. Deep inhale, and then exhale, lower down. Oh, and then I also want to encourage you to put on some music in your own space. Point the toes. Inhale, hey, what's up? Is it, okay, so last time I said sight tone for your name. Tuck the toes under, send the hips to the sky. But I'm like, I think it's probably sight one. So is your name sight one or is it sight tone? Thank you for saying that you'll check it out. It's 58 seconds. I chopped it down. All right, we're gonna walk the hands back. Placing the hands on the shins, knees, or thighs. Inhaling to halfway up, exhale, forward fold. Walk out. Oh, thank you, Dragon Maiden. Thank you so much. All right, rolling shoulders here. Exhale, lowering down. Pointing the toes. Inhale to cobra or up dog if you'd like. Exhale, tuck the toes under. Walk the hands back. Inhaling to halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Walk the hands out. All right, here we're gonna lift one leg up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, point the toes to halfway up. Exhale, tuck one toe. And then we're going to walk the hands back just a little bit as we send our raised leg up to the sky. Deep inhale here. Exhale that knee toward the nose. Inhale the leg up. Exhale. It doesn't matter which leg you started on here. We're just going to do the other one after this. Inhale up. Exhale. Draw that knee in. Inhale up, exhale. Breathe with that ocean breath. On your next exhale, release your foot back down. Remember which foot it was. Walk your hands back. Inhale to halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Walk the hands out. High plank here. So then here we're going to lift the opposite leg. Good. Deep inhale. As you exhale, we'll lower down. Point the toes. Inhale, pulling the chest up.
away from the floor just as much as you're comfortable doing so. Tuck the toes under. Ooh, exhale, press up. Let that lifted leg be up as high as you want. Maybe walk the hands back just a bit and breathe. On your next exhale, draw the knee toward the face. Exhale out, inhale that leg out. Hey, Yoshi. Yoshi is my level 3 emote. Inhale up, exhale. So subscribers get emotes, which I checked today, and they're not quite approved. I expect they'll be approved in a couple of days. Hey. And place the foot down. I want to see who subscribed. Oh, I missed you. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, so we're in a cat-cow here. Exhale. Do a couple of cat-cows. I just want to see who subscribed while I was live streaming. Huevos frijoles. Bienvenidos. All right, sink the hips down. Exhale, round the spine. Tuck the toes under. Press the hips up to downward facing dog. So we should be getting warm here. So if you would like to add a little bit of a shoulder workout here, if your shoulders are not strong enough, if you start to do this, you're testing the waters and it's too hard, then don't do it. You can stay in downward facing dog and keep walking the dog. Otherwise, take a deep breath and press your left palm into the mat and begin to walk your right hand back. Maybe that right hand grabs the opposite foot. So this might be too much. This is more of an advanced posture here. On your next exhale, return the right hand back. Plant your right hand down into the mat. Deep inhale. Exhale, draw your left hand back to the right ankle. Maybe it grabs the foot and maybe it doesn't. So we're just working on flexibility, stretching out the calves while strengthening the shoulders. Listen to your body. Shift the hips from side to side. Walk the feet back just a bit. Exhale, come forward onto plank. You can skip the chaturanga if you like. Knees are welcome. Exhale, lower down. Point the toes. Inhale, peel the shoulders away from the floor. On your next exhale, tuck the toes under, send the hips up to the sky. Good. We're going to walk our feet forward to forward fold. Inhale to halfway up. Shake the hips from side to side. Exhale, forward fold, plant the hands. We're going to step back one leg at a time. Good. Roll shoulders here. You don't have to go down into chaturanga here. You can stay up in plank. And as you exhale, squeeze that abdomen into the spine. Coming up to, pressing up to downward facing dog once more. Good. Starting to warm up the body. You're doing a good job. All right. Inhale that right leg up to the sky. Exhale, sweep that right foot between the hands. So you're going to shift your shoulders forward as you sweep up, planting the foot between the palms. Adjust your stance so that you're now in high runner's lunge. Yeah. So we can use our blocks here. Yeah. Good. I actually felt better after starting to sweat just a little bit. All right. We're going to bring that back knee down to the floor, point those back toes, walk the hands back with or without the blocks, whatever you like. The front toes are lifting up to the sky. So we really want to work on stretching the hamstrings here. So we're working on our flexibility in our hamstrings. Walking the block forward. And here we're going to start to get into the hips. I was doing some Pilates with Pilates Mama SD. She's on Twitch. And there was one exercise that she had done, and it really isolated the lower butt area. And I thought,
Huh, that's good. I should do that more often. But it hurt. It was like really isolating a specific muscle. So you're just walking the blocks back and forth. You don't have to stay with me here. You can stay, like if one pose feels really good or one position feels really good, you can go ahead and stay there for a few breaths. We're just loosening up the hips and the hamstrings. Yeah, I didn't know that. I think I knew, but I guess I was reminded that Pilates was created by a man. I don't know his name or anything. I think he was German. Feel free, anyone, to chime in here if you know. But I thought that's interesting. I think Pilates is a very good workout, as well as yoga. I was surprised some of the things that we were doing, it really wasn't that much of a challenge, but whenever I got to that one exercise that worked the lower butt, I was like, ooh, I need to do this more. Okay, we're gonna tuck the toes under. Deep inhale here, we're gonna step up, meet in forward fold. So in our forward fold, you can have your blocks starting, starting to work on stretching the backs of the hamstrings. Maybe the belly comes to the thighs and maybe not. So you just do you here, wherever you're at is great. Shake the head no, nod the head yes. I don't think I've ever really been able to place my face on my shins, so this is definitely a new growth for me. So my journey, you're seeing it unfold. It's awesome. Feel the hamstrings stretching. Definitely inhale to halfway up. Exhale, forward folding, planting the hands around the feet, stepping back with the right foot, then the left foot, meeting in high plank. You can go straight to downward facing dog if you like from here, or if you want a little bit more of a workout. Knees are welcome always. Lowering down through chaturanga, pointing the toes. Inhale, peeling the chest away from the floor. Exhale, tuck the toes under, meeting in downward facing dog. Walking the dog here. Letting the whole body breathe. Let the body stretch where it wants to stretch. On your next inhale, we'll raise the right leg up to the sky. And as you exhale, shift your gaze upward between the thumbs, shifting shoulders forward, sweeping that top leg between the hands, adjusting your feet so that you have a nice, strong, stable base here. Doing good. If you'd like, you can grab your blocks. But yeah, I really enjoyed Pilates Mama SD. I thought that was a really good class. So if you're interested in Pilates, hop on over there. I think she has a class right after this one. When you're ready, we'll release the left leg down to the floor, left knee, point the left toes, walk the blocks back. Let the right toes come up, pointed toward the sky. Feel the stretch in the back of the calf, the back of the hamstrings. Yeah, I found a picture of myself, because I'm usually talking about my 200-pound self. I found a picture, and maybe one day I will share it. I did have it up here on the screen just before I went live. And what I would like to do is have the picture up and me stand side by side the picture. So since tonight it's more zoomed in, so we can be together, you know, a little bit closer during this mat, floor-based practice on the mat. I'm not going to do it today because if I stand up next to it, I don't think you'll be comparing apples to apples, you know. Walking the blocks back and forward, just at your own pace, whatever you'd like to do here. So as you move back, you're stretching into the hamstrings, and as you move forward, we get into the hips. Yeah. Ooh, like that.
moving the blocks out of the way. Planting the hands around the front foot, tucking the back toes, sliding the front foot back. Now, be careful about doing too many chaturangas. So feel free, don't stress out. I mean, for me, I'm wanting to do more because that's where I'm at in my yoga journey. So I'm gonna do one more here. Feel free to meet me in downward facing dog if you'd like. Pointing toes, inhale, peeling the chest away from the floor. Maybe pressing up into up dog. Coming over the toes, tucking the toes underneath the body so that you can see your beautiful toes. Downward facing dog. Letting the head hang gently between the upper arms, shifting the hips from side to side. Walking the hands back. Inhaling, peeling the chest away from the floor, coming to halfway up, strengthening the muscles of the back. Exhale, forward fold down. Yeah, let's bring stretching and flexibility into the hips. Yeah. So I know for some of you who are welcome. If you're coming back and returning, we had a beginner's class yesterday for yoga. So tell your friends who are not sure about yoga, walk your hands out. All right. We're going to meet back in downward facing dog. We're going to inhale the right leg up to the sky. No, I'm sorry, left leg up to the sky. And then shift shoulders forward, sweep that foot up, bring it between the hands. Shimmy that foot on up if you need to, adjusting your stance. On your next exhale, we're gonna press that front foot into the floor, bring the arms up. And then we're gonna bring hands to heart center. We're gonna take this right elbow on the outside of the left knee. So I'm facing away from you, no. That's all right. Press that back heel back toward the back wall. Squeeze that pelvic floor on your exhales. And on your next exhale, we'll bring the hands back down. Good. Just wanted to add a twist there. On your next exhale, we're going to step back and meet in downward facing dog. Yeah, I was just trying to say be careful on doing too many chaturangas because it can really exhaust your shoulders. So knees are certainly welcome. And you want to make sure you're doing chaturangas properly. There is a correct and incorrect way to do it. All right, we might talk about that. No, we should talk about that on next Monday in our beginners class. Take a glance between your hands. We're going to inhale the opposite leg up. So if you took your left leg up, we'll bring our right leg up this time. On your next exhale, we'll sweep that foot on through, planting it between the hands. Good. Adjust your stance here so that you're a nice, strong, stable base. You could let your hands float up if you want to. On your next exhale, bring the arms up overhead and hands come to heart center. Then we're going to hook the left elbow on the outside of this right knee. All right, good job. So yeah, beginner class on Mondays. I was doing a chat in yoga. I might do that every once in a while. Breathe here, breathe. But yeah, tell your friends, tell them if they're interested in yoga. And this is a full yoga class. So if they're definitely wanting to try, then please tell them. Share. All right, on your next exhale, we'll come up. Place the hands around the front foot. Plant the palms down into the mat. Slide the front foot back. Very nice. Inhale the left leg just parallel to the floor. Exhale, we're going to shift that leg down. So placing that left knee behind the left wrist and then walk that foot out. So yeah, pigeon, you got this. Bring the right knee down, point the right toes. You can keep those toes flexed if that's safer for your knee. Good. Walk the hands out. Make sure your heel's not pointed out like mine just was. Have it up toward the sky. So you may want to tuck those back toes just to keep your knee safe here. Flexibility is definitely something that does happen. I've heard many folks say, I couldn't do that before, like even just maybe sweeping the foot up between the hands. I couldn't do that for a long time, but it does come, it happens. If you'd like to release all the way down to the floor, you're welcome to, or you can stay up. This is your practice. Listen to your body. And then you'll walk your hands back. If your back toes aren't already tucked, go ahead and tuck them. Lift the back knee up. Send the hips up to the sky. Step back, meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up to parallel to the floor. And then exhale that right knee behind the right wrist, and then walk the right ankle over toward the left. Bring your left knee down to the floor, point or keep that back foot flexed or tucked under. And then we're gonna stay up just for a little bit and breathe, walking the hands back out. Yeah. This side is definitely getting more open for me. If you've been with me for a little while, you'll know that I used to bowl. We'd go three times a week. Me and my husband would go 3 times a week. And we were on a league. And so this hip was always really tight, but I can definitely tell that it's opening up for me. So that's really good. And walking the hands back. Planting the hands just about underneath the shoulders, tucking your back toes under, sending your hips up to the sky as you slide your front foot back. Good. All right, we're going to practice our splits. So go ahead and bring the knees down. If you have a bolster or a pillow or couch cushion or something that you can use, if you're not used to doing splits, I'm going to show the modified version because this is something I totally need to work on myself. All right, we're going to bring, let's see, we just had that leg stretch. Let's bring the left leg up and over. You're welcome to do this without the cushion. So we're just edging the front foot forward, back foot back. And then you can use your blocks even here if this is not enough even. So hopefully one day, maybe together, if you're where I'm at or even higher up or lower down, I hope to join you if you're lower down. And someday I do hope to bring this down. I can really feel the front thigh stretching, the hamstring. Breathing here. Yeah, I was not, well, I guess I was in dance, but like when I was like 7, I didn't continue dance into my central, junior, middle school, high school years. I was more of an academic and a cook. And I liked it. I liked being creative in the kitchen. I loved it. All right, so to come out of this, we're gonna draw the front foot back and just kind of bend into that front knee. So kind of a similar exercise that we were doing before with the blocks, or we just have our hands on a cushion, or if you would like, you can use your blocks if you don't have a cushion. All right, bringing that foot back, and we're gonna switch to the other side. So I really do need to work on this every single time in our practice. It's just the things that we resist, like this for me. It's okay. It's all a journey. No worries. And I just brought that up about dance because if you were in dance or drill team or anything like that, then you might have already, you know, this is just normal. So, and that's fine. It does feel actually really good on the hamstrings in the front. And just breathe. Maybe breathe with that ocean breath. And notice if you start to feel numbness, pain, or tingling, ease out of it just a little bit. I'm just stretching my arms. You're welcome to bring arms into this too. So notice I'm not flexing my foot. I'm letting the toes be natural. I am tucking the back toes just to protect my knee. You can point the back toes. Just listen to your body. Do what's right for you. Oh, mama. Oh, yeah. I think that's enough. When you're ready, you can come out of that. That's a smart move. Yeah, definitely listen to your body. Now, for the alternative option would just be, you know, to stick with, because since we're stretching our hamstrings, would just be to do something like staff pose. So here it might, straps might come in handy. And in this pose, you do want your toes to come toward your face. Be nice and tall spine here. And then bring the heart forward. Start to feel a stretch, back of the hamstrings. These classes really go by too fast. And one thing I'd like to know from you, if you'd like to share, and you don't have to share here, you can even share anonymously in my suggestion box on my homepage. Are the length of these classes good? They're generally about an hour, but if that's too long or too short, I'd love to hear back from you. So coming into your version of your staff pose, forward fold, head to knee pose, which, oh my goodness, I do kind of have to round my spine to get there. So my spine's not completely straight, obviously, but it's getting there. Yay. Feel your sits bones pressing back, your heart drawing forward toward your toes. When you're ready, walking the hands back. All right, and we're going to work on another type of flexibility. I know, it really goes by fast. Like I was looking at the time, I'm like, really? Has it been 35 minutes already that we've been stretching? All right, so we're going to stretch our inner thighs so we can draw one leg in, so you can have your right foot with the right sole of the foot kind of on the inner thigh of the left foot. Nice tall spine, shift your shoulders, square them toward your toes. Walk the hands out that left leg. I wish I could see better. Thank you for subscribing. I can't read your name. Thank you. Oh, yeah, there you are. You said hi. Oh, no, you didn't. T sub asa 8. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. Subscribing. I got my first subscriber. Oh, my gosh. Okay, that's like worth like, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for subscribing. I just thought you followed. That is awesome. I feel like I need to do like every time somebody subscribes, I need to do like a crazy yoga pose. So I'm going to do a back bend for that. That was pretty awesome. All right, so walking the hands back, and then y'all don't have to do this back bend, but I'm doing it for the subscriber. I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, so back bend for the subscriber. Deep inhale, exhale, press the hips up. Yay! I'm so excited. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And lowering down. Okay, so you do not have to do that back bend. I'm just gonna offset it with plow. All right, so we're gonna do the other side. That's so exciting. Okay. Thank you for supporting the channel. Appreciate you so much. And then we're gonna bring the opposite sole of the foot to the inner thigh, shift our shoulders toward our right foot, and then we're gonna walk our hands out. And breathe. I'm so excited. Thank you. I remember seeing Grand Pooh Bear. I don't know if y'all know him, but he's a very popular video game. They call them speed runners. I remember seeing his first, like when he got his first subscriber, it was him and his wife on the camera, and they were just like ecstatic. So I'm so excited. So happy that you guys got to be here for that. It's exciting. All right. So now we're gonna do both legs out. So you can send both legs out, and I probably need to roll up a blanket and sit up a little bit higher, because this is not one of my most flexible poses here. All right, so nice tall spine. Have the feet out and the toes up toward the sky, and here we're gonna walk our hands out. So one of my friends can actually bring her whole torso down to the floor here, which I think is super awesome, but I can definitely feel a stretch on my inner thighs. So I'm at my, what I like to call midpoint. So not too easy, not too hard, just perfect here for you. And then walk the hands back. Good job. I'm gonna bring the soles of the feet together. Nice tall spine. You can be sitting on a little bit, maybe a rolled up blanket. And breathe. So this is cobbler's pose. We're going to walk the hands forward. And walking the hands back. We're going to take this less into the inner thighs and more on the outer thighs. So stacking, coming into fire log pose with toes forward here. Oh, yeah. So this stretch is more on the base, like where our sits bones are, on the outside of the hips, kind of on this area, kind of like not on the hamstrings, but kind of on the side. And you can always put a blanket or bolster here underneath the knee if your knee doesn't come all the way down. This one definitely feels tighter on me today. Walking hands back. All right. All right, and doing the other side. Nice tall spine, switching the leg that's on top, walking the hands out. When you're ready, walk your hands back to the body And then we will begin to wind down our practice. So time flies when you're having fun. So I'm going to roll down. And so what I was talking about in Pilates, they have something called roll-ups. And I found that they were kind of easy, I guess, but I guess they, like anything, can be made more challenging. But what that tells me is that this yoga practice is effective, and it does help, and it does make a difference. And consistency is definitely key. Being consistent. So the roll-ups, you might have seen them. They're just taking your hands up, scooping the belly in, bringing the hands up and over. And you can do this for more beginners. It would be with the knees bent and then rolling back down. And then for more advanced, as you build strength, coming all the way up and back. So that was what I learned, and we're just rolling on down. Yeah, so this is more Pilates. Inhale here, exhale, bring the hands up. Press that lower back into the spine, lift, and you can have your knees bent here. But yeah, these are roll-ups, and it kind of works on the abs. So for modification, you'd come up here, then you would grab your legs, walk up, and on through. All right. We're going to bring the knees in toward the chest, hug the knees in. And we're going to send the feet up to the sky. And then draw the knees back in. Separate the knees apart, lift the soles of the feet to the sky, hook the fingers around the big toes, inner thigh, inner ankles, arches, outside of the feet. You can grab anywhere, even behind the thighs here. Press the sacrum down onto the mat. Soften the jaw, hug the knees into the chest, make circles with the knees one direction, and then the other direction. We're going to extend one leg out at a time, hugging the opposite knee in toward the shoulder, the same side shoulder. Switch legs. Extend out both legs. Have your heels about shoulder width apart, and let your toes flop out naturally to the sides. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath the ribs, and let your arms come out to your sides at about a 45, or you can place your hands on your abdomen. A lot of times this is the most challenging pose of a practice, particularly if anxiety levels are high or thoughts are racing. If your back is arching, you can take a bolster like the one I had earlier, or rolled up blanket and place underneath the knees, and that'll help reduce the arching in the back. Without your throwing yourself forward. Okay, I got your question, huevos frijoles. So I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to talk about it right now, and then we'll come back to Shavasana. Yeah. So what Pilates Mama SD had said, even some people have to start by pushing themselves up and then coming up and then slowly rolling down. And this builds strength here. And then eventually, as you're coming up, you can go slowly. So I would use your thighs, like grab your thighs as you come up. and down if that's available to you. And as you go down, scoop that belly down. Slowly roll the spine down to the mat. And this would be for keeping the knees up would be a good modification until you get to the point where you don't need them to be up. So again, you can roll over to the side, press yourself up on the roll up, and then lower down slowly. Feel the shaking. And then you could even roll, turn to the other side and sit up, and then roll down. And then when you're ready, once you've built enough strength, then you don't have to turn to the sides. Okay, so coming to Shavasana. You're welcome. Coming to Shavasana with heels shoulder width apart, feet flopped out. Like I was saying, this is like a really hard pose to do. And I've heard more than once and experienced more than once that, yeah, it's like, this is harder than other poses in yoga simply for the fact of getting the mind to calm down. A really hard workout helps this pose though. Like if you worked out on a yoga class and it was like super hard, this pose can feel so good. So you close your eyes. You can cover your eyes with an eye pillow, the sleeve of your jacket. I have one here. Grab mine. Yeah, that's better. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath the body. Breathe in deep and sigh out the breath. And as you sigh out, feel the body melting into the floor. Take in another deep inhale and exhale, sigh out the breath. One more time like that. Deep inhale. Exhale, sigh out the breath. And then we'll stay in silence the next few moments. Just focusing on our breath. As your mind begins to wander, just bring your awareness back to your breath. Bring your awareness back to your body. Take some gentle stretches. Ooh, wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe cover your eyes with your palms and gently flutter the eyes open behind the palms and slowly let light back in. Maybe roll over to one side, taking your time. to shield your eyes because that was kind of jarring. A bright light. And pressing yourself up all the way to seated. Nice, comfortable seated pose here. Thank you for your practice today. Thank you for spending time with me this evening. I've totally enjoyed being with you. The divine light and grace that is in me recognizes and so appreciates the divine light and grace that is in you. Namaste.